So, guys, this week we're going to be talking about The Leftovers. For those of you who don't know, The Leftovers is a show that revolves around mysterious disappearances worldwide and specifically follows a group of people who are left behind in their suburban community of
Are you
Mapleton.
reading that word for word?
Yes.
Oh my god.
They must begin to rebuild their lives after the loss of more than 100 people. So basically, the rapture happens.
Okay, it's. Have you seen the episode?
Yeah, they don't call it the rapture, but
They
that's
don't
what.
refer to it as the rapture. They say the event. They
Yeah.
never like. There's mention in the show that it could be, but the whole time they're like, "What was it? What was it?" And I feel like they're kind of alluding more to a lost mentality. Like,
Well, I mean, there's that one scene where it shows because it's okay. Basically, the show starts off, all these people just randomly disappear. Like, there's a scene this woman puts her baby in the car, walks around the other side to put the groceries in. When she walks back, her baby's not there. This kid is like walking with his dad, and like he looks away and suddenly turns back, and his dad's not there. Then the show picks up a year later, like in the first episode, which
3 years.
is 3 years. I thought it was just a year.
3 years.
Okay. Well, anyways, it picks up at a certain time later, and it's like the anniversary. It's like a couple days before the anniversary of the event, the disappearance, or I think they call it Hero Day or something, which I don't understand why they called it that. Um, and there's the one scene where he's in the bar and it's showing like all the important people that they've lost since then or since that day or on that day, and like it showed the Pope and a bunch of these other actors and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, basically a bunch of like good guys, and then like Gary Busey was one of them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like,
That was hilarious.
yeah, I was like, I think I know he was in a couple of Christian movies. So maybe he did find Jesus a couple years ago. I don't know. But so what did you think of the first episode?
Well, I read a few reviews before I watched it. Just trying because I in my mind I was thinking Rapture, I was thinking Left Behind with Kirk Cameron, and just wasn't sure kind of what to expect. And so I read a couple reviews on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, and they had a lot of mixed feelings of the show. And so I kind of went in with a blank slate. I kind of had ideas of what people were talking about, but wasn't going to judge it one way or the other. And you know what? I came out of it and I really enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
I look forward kind of to seeing where it goes from now. And like there were a couple of things, I don't want to spoil anything just because the show's so new. Exactly, but I don't want to. There were a couple of things that really shocked me. I was very surprised by.
And I will preface it with saying this is on HBO, so there is a lot of naughty words and naughty bits shown. Yeah, I liked it because I will say with something like the Left Behind movies, like I always felt that they wasn't the most accurate portrayal of like what would happen after the rapture. And there's actually one part when I was sitting there watching it. It's the scene where they're playing field hockey, and the one girl like basically like uses her stick.
Elbows her in the face.
Yeah, like hit. Well, the one girl like hits her in the leg first, and then she elbows her in the face and like breaks her nose or something. I was like, man, yeah, you know what? After the rapture, it would be nothing but buttholes left on the world, and so this is how society would kind of be, of just no rules, no real moralities. I mean, there's still rules. I mean, but it's really not. I mean, the main.
Just want to know what happened to the guy's wife.
She's in the cult.
No. But like, why?
Oh,
happened.
See, now, okay, let me ask you this: the one dude at the other location where his son is at.
The black guy.
Yeah. So what do you think he's supposed to be?
I think he's supposed to be a prophet.
See, I was almost like, what if he was like the Antichrist or something?
Hmm.
And it's him building his like following
Well,
and
well, the people weren't exactly from one of the idea that I got. Yes, is that stuff's about to happen, but he was getting. I'm not sure. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
I'm not sure. That's a very accurate assumption, but not necessarily true.
And I will also say this. This is from Damon Lindelof, and if you don't know who he is, or if you're like, oh, that name sounds familiar, he was one of the head guys on Lost, and he wrote Prometheus. So he has a bad problem of asking a lot of questions and then never answering them.
Right.
I was absolutely hated hated the last season of Lost, and like hate that show just in general now. And Prometheus was just the worst thing ever. It was ridiculous. I hated that movie. For it
I
to be,
if the show didn't for me live up to my expectations of what an HBO show should be. Of course, there was sex and violence and stuff, and it's HBO. You're gonna get that. Um, the storytelling lacked a little bit to be desired to me. It was an interesting story, but it was kind of disjointed.
yeah. Well, I mean, this is probably like I said, this is also Damon Lindelof, so I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing like flashbacks and this
Well, they
makes
already
it
had those.
well, if this makes it to like a season two, flash forwards and sideways flashes and all that other junk that he
I
put
mean,
in
the
Lost.
back of the sheriff was the day that the event happened. It's like right as the event happened, he was having marital affairs with his wife at the time, and before I realized that his wife was the other girl at the colony thing, I was thinking like his wife disappeared during that act.
Yeah, yeah. Like I thought she had.
I really wanted that to have happened because I think that could really explain why he's so screwed up.
Yeah,
But that didn't happen, and so now,
I think probably for me personally, I think one of my favorite scenes of the episode was actually at the beginning when the event rapture, when the disappearance happens, and that like 9 or 10 year old boy is standing there, like, where's his dad? Because one thing especially in Christianity and believe is it's a big of age of consent, like when is the child still quote unquote innocent and
mhm.
and doesn't know that what they're doing wrong or have a grasp on sin. Um, and so to see a kid that is around that age of, yeah, he knows if he's doing something is wrong and can feel bad and whatnot and and whatnot for it. I kind of like that. Yeah, he was kind of left standing there, and his dad was gone.
This shows that have come out recently, like The Walking Dead and now The Leftovers, really remind me of. I don't know if you ever watched the show Jeremiah.
Or Jericho.
No, Jeremiah. I
Oh
never
no, I
watched
hadn't
it.
seen Jericho. I hadn't seen Jericho.
Jeremiah is kind of like a rapture thing where
Yeah,
everybody over the age of innocence is dead. Everybody is gone, like just disappeared. And it's like 13 years later, these people are now adults and are forming their new own society and stuff. Because like they were all like 6 and 10 when society left. just disappeared one day. And so, like, society, everything fell. Nobody's maintaining anything, and now people are trying to build back up, build cities and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought the show was awesome back in the day. It has the guy from Family Matters, the older brother.
Oh,
He's Jeremiah's like best friend in the show.
yeah, I can't remember what his name.
But I thought the show was great. But these new shows are reminding me a lot of Jeremiah, and for me, they're not living up to what Jeremiah was. But I mean, they're totally different than Jeremiah. But that's the feeling that I'm getting from them. And now I just kind of want to go back and watch Jeremiah.
Yeah, it's actually what I'm looking to see if it's on Netflix.
It's
VR.
not. Is it?
I don't know.
I don't think it is, because I think I've looked for it. When I watched it, it was all on TV. I was watching reruns of it.
Oh, but they did just add. No, it's not on here.
I didn't think it was.
They did just add Red versus Blue, the first 5 seasons.
Yeah, the Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth just did an AMA on Reddit like last week.
Yeah.
They've been going.
I know if you have Hulu Plus, they have the first 10 seasons on Hulu Plus. I actually recently watched all of those. It was kind of interesting. By like season 7 or 8, they started doing stuff outside of the game as far as the way they captured and made the footage.
Mm-hmm.
There's some parts where they're like full-on animating the scene and doing the fight sequences and stuff like out of game. It was cool, but to me the appeal of that show was always the fact that they could do so much in game. But anyways, so the show also has Liv Tyler in it, and I'm not quite. I don't understand who her character is supposed to be.
Which one is she?
She was the chick where like her and her husband are at the restaurant eating, and then
she at the end, yeah. After the guy leaves the colony and gets like forcibly removed from the colony, she shows up.
Yeah. And then like the whole.
We'll find out what happens with that.
I will say there's
when that woman spoke at the end. Oh my god! Oh my goodness! I was like, what? And she's like,
yeah.
You and I will never speak again.
There's one thing that I will say is that Damon Lindelof can do right. He can make you really want to watch the next episode.
Like, I watched the first episode of Tyrant, was it 2 weeks? I guess 3 weeks ago now. Tonight is the 3rd episode. And even though I liked the show, I still haven't watched the 2nd episode. I've got it recorded. Still haven't watched it. Episode 3 starts tonight.
See, that's like me with some, there's some shows like, what was it? What's the show where the girl is like a secret agent and it was like early 2000s?
Dollhouse?
No.
That's Joss Whedon.
Yeah, it was on like ABC. It was
She's a secret agent?
Yeah, she always like wears costumes and stuff each time.
What year?
It's like early 2000s.
I'm not sure.
It's got what's the lady that's married to Ben Affleck?
What?
What's the lady that's married to Ben Affleck?
I'm not sure.
Alias. Alias is a show.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
I started watching that show and made it like 2.5 seasons, and then just stopped watching. I liked it, but I don't know. It just never really like sucked me in like some other shows. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I literally, besides the couple of shows I've been watching for the website, the only TV I've been watching is Netflix, and the only shows on Netflix I've been watching are Top Gear and Parks and Recreation. Literally,
yeah,
that's it.
I'll
sit out of my room or stay in my basement, come home from work, and I'll watch like 2-3 episodes of Top Gear. Later on, I'll go to bed and I watch two episodes of Parks and Rec because I fall asleep. That's all I've been watching.
They just had their new anime series, like Netflix original, just come on. I started watching a little bit of the first episode, but
I
I
think
was
that's.
having trouble with Netflix last night, so I didn't finish it. Um, but before we go too far away,
Did you watch the HBO show Outsourcing? Or no, not outsourcing. Outsourcing. What's it called?
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley. Yeah.
Yes,
You watched that?
yes,
What did you think of that?
I loved it.
Did you? Did
Yes,
you watch betas on Amazon Prime at all?
no,
It was literally almost like they took the exact same premise as betas, the same characters, like you've got the weird quirky guy that's in charge of everything. You've got the
yeah,
guy, you've got the weird stoner pothead guy, you've got the weird guy that's trying to control everything. They took all of that from betas and put it on HBO and made it so much better. Like
yeah. Well, I think a lot of it in
the AT&T commercials where they're like the guys with like the weird like Middle Eastern guy, like he's really scared. What the heck are you doing?
oh, am I still? My camera looked like it was shaking, so I was trying to see if I could fix something, and I probably like just
Black
distorted.
and white for a minute there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really liked the way betas was going. I don't know if they're gonna actually. They were like 8 episodes. I don't know if they're gonna do a new season or not. But Silicon Valley has me hooked. I love it.
you know what, and a lot of people running this problem, and that come to this website and stuff and watch these videos of wanting to watch these shows. Like I know Drew personally, like for the longest time, never watched Game of Thrones because of the language and mostly the just gratuitous sex that's in that show, even though it's not as bad as it was like the first couple of seasons. Um, and even with leftovers, like leftovers, you're going to run into language. It really wasn't
There
that
was
much nudity.
at the very
I
end.
think I think there was like one.
There was male frontal nudity at the end.
Well, yeah, but that you really didn't see anything. I was trying to think. There was one. I mean, there's one full on like just weird, hardcore sex scene.
Hmm.
But I will say this.
Well, are you talking about the one that's at the party?
No, I'm talking about like the dream. I mean, yeah, there's the one at the party that's just
There's the
weird
two at the
and that.
party because she opens the door.
Oh yeah, that's right. There is two. Yeah, that one was a little intense. The one where she opens the door, and that's another example. Actually, that whole party was another scene I liked because you do have to really think. Okay, let's say the rapture happens. The rapture happens, and we're not going to get into who thinks the rapture is going to be at the beginning of the tribulation or middle or end. That's not what this show is. Uh,
Maybe
so
not.
yeah, so basically, the rapture happens. You have all the good Christian people are gone, and and there will be people after the rapture that will will get saved. It talks about like the people that will be brought into heaven after the rapture at the end of the tribulation. But the majority of people are going to be the kind of
Rude.
the just I don't know if I say bad people or rude or whatever, but just your normal
Worldly
mainstream
people.
people that you see today.
Worldly.
Yeah, your worldly people, and so I actually liked that. That was something else like that party scene. Like I would never have a group of friends over, mixed company, playing some spin the bottle app that is literally like, oh, just spin it. Oh, hug. Oh, that's cool. Spin it again. Go have sex. And it was no like, oh, well, I guess we'll just spin something different. No, it was like, pick girl up, go upstairs. No questions asked or anything.
Yep.
And then the next
I don't
one
have
was
to
like,
do it. I don't have
yeah,
to. I don't have to do it.
but I want to do it. And like the next one was like choke, and that whole scene was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
So I think that's something for me that I've liked with Leftovers in just the first episode compared to like, and I've only watched, I think I watched the first two Left Behind movies, um,
I think I've seen them all.
where I think Leftovers does give you that little more uh, graphic, gratuitous version of what life would possibly most likely be like after the rapture happened. Um, so for some people, I will tell you this: some people, I would say if you have HBO Go, give the show a try. You might not make it all the way through. There is some stuff that whether your personal conviction is. Um, because I think the show could have the same thing. Like you go back and you think of when Passion of the Christ came out. You remember reading about all those people like freaking out and because of all the violence and blood. I was like, well,
Hmm.
it wasn't a very peaceful story.
Yeah.
Just because we're so used to seeing the Sunday school version
Yeah.
of this story unfold doesn't mean that's how it actually happened. And I
There's a
think
lot of
Leftovers,
violence in the Bible.
yeah, and I think Leftovers is can have that same effect to some people of we've only seen stuff like the Rapture in Left Behind movies in like cheesy Sunday school version. And so when you see something of like high school kids playing this weird version of Spin the Bottle
High out of their minds.
and then not even talking about there at the end where the big hero day thing and all the people in the white show up and they're like you're wasting your breath. And then there's just this mass like basically you know how you've seen those videos where Westboro will be boycotting and you've got
Mhm.
the other group on the side boycotting them and the police are there and some like good people in the group are like no man look it's not worth yeah I know these people are stupid but it's not worth going over there like getting in trouble and beating one of them up. Well, imagine if that guy that just stopped you from walking across the street and beating up Westboro Baptist Church was not there. Now times that by several million,
Mhm.
and that's what happens. So you have this big scene like at the event, the Hero Day, where this church shows up, and everybody just goes and starts beating the mess out of all of them. Nobody's there stopping them. Not even the police. The police are joining in because you
I
have your.
don't know if they're joining in as much as they're just beating the people off of each other.
Well, I'll say this: they wasn't trying to stop them because old boy, the
They were
chief.
using billy clubs and canes and stuff.
Yeah, the chief sure was getting his whooping stick out, and
It
nothing.
appeared more to me like he was trying to hit people off of each other. Like if
Yeah,
there was a person in white down on the ground, because the people in white weren't punching back; they were just getting the crap beat out of them.
yeah,
They were, like, if you want to say, they were doing a peaceful protest, but they, like, if they were knocked down on the ground, I don't remember seeing the sheriff, I guess the deputy, whatever he is.
well, he was police chief,
Yeah, yeah, chief. I don't
which I
remember
thought was
seeing
weird
them
because
just
he was
like
too
straight up
young to
and
be a
like
police chief.
hitting the people on the ground.
Yeah.
Something weird about it. It's a big
Oh,
rebuttal.
yeah. Well, you're supposed to drink, especially if you want to focus on like weight loss or whatever. But anyways, you're supposed to drink half your body weight in ounces a day of water.
Half?
Yeah, which is not that many if you think of it. Like this is 75 ounces.
Jeez.
Or if like you go buy one of those tall smart water bottles, like that's I think like 50 ounces or something. So it's not. It sounds like a lot, but it's it's not as
Maybe.
bad as you think. Yeah. Um.
Well, for everybody out there, I would recommend Leftovers if you can get past the violence and the sexuality of it, and the drugs and everything. Like it's an HBO show, HBO show.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like recommend it for anybody that's under 18. Um, but the show itself is the story's enjoyable, if not a little confusing.
which is Damon Lindelof to a T. See, I like going to watch stuff that takes like I might have overall not cared for Noah, but I do find it interesting when you see people who um, maybe not personally believe in the Bible and in Jesus and all that try and do a story that has a religious background or a religious, um, because it's always interesting to see what they focus on and like what they're going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I forgot there's something I was
It's
going to
like
look up.
having a Twilight fan make Harry Potter.
I've seen two Harry Potter movies. I've seen the first one and the first half of Deathly Hallows.
How many Twilights have you watched?
Two of them. The first two.
That's too many.
Yes. Well, the first one I rented on Redbox because it was like $1. I just wanted to see what the fuss was about.
I've
And
only seen the first one, but
and
even that, it was only because we had gotten the riff tracks for it.
oh, see, that'd be worth it.
That
And then
it was, oh my goodness! It was like there's one scene when Bella and Edward are sitting in the car and they're not talking; they're just kind of like being awkward, and the riff track guys are like, line, line. What's my line, guys?
yeah, I watched. Like I said, I Redbox the first one just to see what it was about, and then I went with a friend to see the second one, and it was like her choice this time to pick out a movie to see, and she wanted to see Twilight.
I would have
Hey,
said gracias.
hey, I don't want to get into a Twilight discussion because I really hate that series and what it did to vampires. But I think Robert Pattinson was a terrible choice for who did he play? Jacob? Edward? Whatever. Um, yeah. Or either that or he should have gotten in better shape. There's a part where he has his shirt off, and I'm like, look, I know I'm not in the best shape. I'm a big old fat dude, but you've got loose skin. You need to tighten that up a little bit because I don't want to see you with your shirt off. I mean, not that that's what I'm into, but
Thanks. You don't want to see me with my shirt off?
not. Uh, no.
Too bait.
Yeah. Ah, gross. So,
All right, it is hot as heck out here.
yep. Yeah, that's. I really don't have anything else. I mean, I think we kind of gave our opinion enough on the leftovers. Wait and see. I might try and do like after the second episode, do a write up on it and kind of see if I can still recommend it after the second episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll by then have an idea of where they're kind of going in direction wise for the season. Oh, you know what?
What?
Leftovers. See, like what day of the week it comes out. Oh, it might already have aired.
I'm checking the HBO app.
But one HBO show
Season 1, episode 2, Penguin 1 Us 0 is available.
okay. But one show I can really recommend that's on the HBO Go app is Silicon Valley.
Yes.
There is some cursing.
Drugs, sex.
Well, there's real no sex in it that they show. Like the only thing that I can think of is when they hire that dude to paint their logo, and he has that weird. That is pretty graphic. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh, that was a good.
that's not shown for long.
My favorite scene from that show is when T.J. Miller's character goes and like fights the kids in the neighborhood for the right Ritalin, for the right Adderall or whatever.
uh,
They didn't give him the right stuff.
and it's creator Mike Judge is
Yeah.
the show creator, and if you know Mike Judge from such things as Office Space, Beavis and Butthead, Idiocracy, which if you've not seen Idiocracy, watch it. That's the world we live in, or the beginnings of that world is like our end goal because we're in the beginnings of that world because uh yeah.
All right. Um. Hey. Last thing before we leave, Ryan and I are going to be starting a new show on Thursdays. It's titled Cinema Stadium, where we will pit two movies against each other and figure out. We will either debate or figure out which one is better. We haven't exactly figured out how we're going to do this yet, but we would like to have a audience member join us each week and get their take on the films or whatever. So we're going to put up signups on the website and on the Facebook page. So hit us up. Let us know. We're going to do it every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you're available at that time, let us know, and we'll get a schedule and see who's available when. Right?
Yes, because we will need a third party to help us for the movies that we need a tiebreaker vote.
Yes.
Also, if you've never been to Flickchart, go to Flickchart. It's pretty cool, a little time waster. You get to pit two movies against each other and vote for which one you think is the better movie.
And you ultimately get a top 10.
Yeah,
Well, you
might be
whatever.
might be a weird top 10, or at least at first, but so all right. On that note, we're going to call it a day. We will see y'all next week. Actually,
Later.
yeah, we'll see some this week and some next week. Check out the website geeksundergrace.com. Hit us up on Facebook by the same name and Cross Console Gamers. Until then, see you next time.